Why is it that in light of the history of progressive destruction of Black economic progress, is it the fact that conservatives have failed to pick up the Black support that otherwise would have offered a different path than the very political movements that destroyed their progress? Where do you think conservatives missed the plot?
Yeah, I think this is basically the main reason I wrote my book, Black Liberation Through the Marketplace, with my co-author, Marcus Witcher.
Yeah.
Not only did we want to bring together all of these classical liberal insights on race and discrimination, but we really wanted to give white conservatives a way to talk about our history of racial discrimination that aligned with their understanding, which we thought was correct, on economics, right? On the importance of private property rights, on the importance of contract rights, et cetera. And so, and the reception that it's gotten has been extremely positive from white conservatives. I think that it's a way forward. It's a way to talk to the Black community, who, by the way, is the most religious demographic in the United States, is extremely socially conservative, is highly entrepreneurial, not in any way socialistic, even if, the most centrist in the Democratic Party, as well as Latinos. The further left
That's an interesting observation, actually.
Yes.
People forget that. Yeah. It's very interesting.
And so we have a group of people here who, with a little bit of understanding and grace and intelligence on their history, we might be able to really win over to the conservative movement quite easily. But what we've had is not a lot of interest in doing that, which is incredibly frustrating. And think about some of the things I'm saying about the FHA or highways or urban renewal. It sounds what we might call left-coded, right? Like you said, these are things progressives talk about. So what conservatives have done is they've given the topics over to progressives rather than saying, well, wait a second, what's our account of those topics? Maybe we've got a better and more intelligent account that shows what was going on economically and in terms of social capital that we can present. So I want to say to conservatives, stop backing out of all of the conversations that progressives are in. Get into those conversations and offer the insights that we have.
So put yourself into one of those conversations, right? Let's say you're with a group of modern, let's just say limousine liberals who talk about the effects of conservative deregulatory policy that doesn't give a damn about American workers or Black Americans, and how this is actually callous to minority communities. Let's say you walk into that conversation, dinner table conversation. What's the first thing you say to show up in that conversation and maybe bring some of those people along?
Yeah, I think a good way to start is thinking about the concrete. Okay. I say, well, my friend Shamed Dogan fought for 10 years in the state of Missouri so that African hair braiders could braid hair without having to go to cosmetology school for 2 years. My friend Matt Paparaki at the Illinois Policy Institute fought for nurses who had turned their lives around after prison to be able to actually be licensed and work in the state of Illinois. These are women, 1,200 new nurses that have come into the economy because of that work. What about our Latino entrepreneur neighbors who are running tamales carts in the city of Chicago, and the police are raiding them and turning them over until the Illinois Policy Institute was able to legalize food carts in the city of Chicago? Let's think about people's real lives. Do you have to have a high school diploma to be a barber, to be a good barber? No, but that's what the statutes say.
There's laws that effectively say in order to be a barber, you have to have graduated from a particular GED
in some states. And why is that? Because the established businesses are cronies. This is what Adam Smith warned from the very beginning. As soon as you become established, you want to turn around and use your connection with the state to keep startups out. So we have to be eternally vigilant against this abuse of regulation. And people need to understand that just because something is a regulation doesn't mean that it's regulating anything that needs to be regulated. It could just be a cronyistic effort to keep out competitors. And that is what it often turns into.
Yeah, especially when those people have an influence in writing those very rules.